Emanuel Ierna is a spiritual teacher and healer at the Pyramid of St. Petersburg, a holistic sanctuary for healing and meditation. He has a BA in education and is a published author of spiritual growth books, Being Human and Releasing the Reactive. Emanuel Ierna is a healer of humanity and spiritual guide. This presentation is on empowering your authentic intuition. And I just want to share personal, just a journey of how he is a good brother, spiritual brother, and a person who has entered my world and brought nothing but smiles. Because he's always smiles. And I hope that today he brings a smile to your face, a smile to your life, and a smile to your world. Let me bring to you today, Emanuel. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to start today by honoring some amazing energies that we aren't always aware of. And that first being the sun. The sun, this radiant force of life, giving us so much energy on a constant basis. Without it, there would be no life. It would be a cold and desolate place. So I start by honoring the sun, the power source of our existence. We also have to honor the earth energy. The earth, this living thing that we are living upon, growing things right out of it, including little creatures. They work in harmony, the sun and the earth. Without them, we would have no home. And the third powerful force I'd like to acknowledge is our moon. This magical, magnetic, celestial object circling us every day, influencing part of our intuition, our emotions, and the more we are connected with understanding that, the more we will understand ourselves. I talk about these three things because I enjoy being a scientist of the soul and seeing how science is connected to our way of living, our being. And if you know science, then you know that when you have conductors swirling around and around objects, it actually creates an electromagnet. An electromagnet creates energy, creates electricity. It creates a force of gravity within it. And I want everyone to be aware as the heavens open up above us that we are living on electromagnets floating through space. These giant, massive objects swirling around each other, creating energy constantly. So when we appreciate the sun and let that energy in, that healing, loving energy, and we appreciate the moon and watch the moon and the cycles in which it goes through, those 28-day cycles that are connected with us as well, you find connection to your own spirit, your own soul. There's something undeniable there that's been happening before human existence, and it still happens, and it will happen after us. But we draw from this energy. We are from this energy. Electromagnetic creation. But the source of energy, of heart, is love. So we must ask ourselves, well, what is love? What is this force that drives us, that gives us purpose in life? There's love on the outside, and then there's love on the inside. And those are two seemingly different worlds, but we create our outside world with what is on the inside. Love. In my journey of discovering love within, I found that the one thing that seems to always block it or stop it from growing is fear. And beliefs that kind of connect it. This fear of being open. So we must ask ourselves, how are you on the inside, in that little space within, as you experience this experience of life, this grand, long experience, like a movie that never ends? How are you on the inside as you watch all of life unfold? And the more we're in touch with that inner peace, that inside space, and making it safe and holy, we are able to open our hearts up more. And to get there, there's some things we have to get out of our life. Number one being distractions. There are distractions everywhere in today's world. But we allow those into our perception or into our mind, allow them to infiltrate our consciousness. We have power. And to find yourself more clearly, you must eliminate unhealthy distractions. There are obligations. We have work, we have jobs, we have children that we must be present for. But the unhealthy distractions, the one that take your mind where it's not a divine place, are the ones that are no longer necessary. So the more you clear those out of your life, you'll see, come back to self, come back to presence. Why do we distract? What is the meaning? Why do we avoid ourselves so much? The one person that's with you throughout this whole journey, from the time you're born till the end, is you. The you that deserves all of the love and all of the presence, more than anyone else in the world. So how do we get to that place? By removing distractions, being present with ourselves. The more we're present with ourselves, and start rooting yourself in self-love. And what does that mean? The things you love in life. Not others. You, the things that are sacred to you, you make space for that. You make time for that. Because you're the loving force that needs to be cultivated. We spend too much time worrying about others, pushing our love, all of our energy into other places, when it could be coming to us on a daily basis. As you wake, grateful for breath, grateful for existence, and do things for you, the things that give you peace. It may be something as simple as having your toothbrush in a certain place, or having your pillow a certain way. But you are a sacred presence in this universe. There's only one of you, only one of your perspective, only one with your dreams. Your dreams are unique to you, which means that you're the only one that can realize them. You're the only one that can experience them. You're the only one that can feel them, your dreams. So they have to be discovered. And you're the one to do it. Part of fear is thinking. Part of avoiding presence is being trapped in the mind of the past or the future. The past comes up constantly. Why is that? Well, we are amazing beings and we have amazing minds. And part of that is our conditioning. Our conditioning that we have received since before birth. There's a little study that was done in 2013, I believe, proving something called epigenetic inheritance. I'm going back to my science stuff now. But epigenetic inheritance was proven in a lab with mice, where when the mice came in to their maze, they were offered a scent. a very strong citrusy scent, and then they were shocked after they got that scent. And they did this in repetition many times, so the mice would understand when they smelt this scent, they would get shocked. That's just what happened. That was their life. They found that in the offspring of these mice, when they presented the scent to these mice, that their heart rates would go up immediately. They were frightened because these offspring that have never experienced the shock before, they knew what was coming. Now, how would they know this aside from an epigenetic inheritance? Which is to say that they inherited the fear from their parents. Now, this concept, when thought about to the self, can be healing. It's also kind of scary, right? But whatever happened in your parents' life before you were born into it, you have layers within you that aren't you. There are things that you inherited epigenetically, maybe irrational fears, but it's okay to let them go. Even with these mice, the mice grandchildren had the same fear of this scent that had been conditioned into them. So part of self-work and going into the self is realizing that there's things in there that have been conditioned from childhood, from other people, from your parents or your grandparents, that can work their way through you into a more authentic self. The main topic of the talk is increasing your intuition. And you can't have strong intuition without chaos. When there's noise inside, it can be cleared. There's ways to clear it out, to give you peace. But it takes work, and the self-work is being with yourself. Giving yourself that self-love. Because in that moment, you're filling yourself up from the inside. You're filling your authentic self, your greatest self, that is becoming every day with the choices you make. You are becoming authentic and stronger and more wise. It's that or the other way, which you can go into conditioning farther. You can put more barriers around yourself. You can have more fear. You can live in a smaller box. You can confine yourself in until there's nothing but distractions. But we don't want that. We want freedom. We want openness. So then the question you ask yourself is, am I open or am I closed? And since we can't all be open 100% of the time, we have to realize that there's things in this world that close us. Or there's energies that close us. Much of that is rooted from childhood, past conditioning, past experiences. You stay away from a certain place because you had a bad experience there. That's closed. There could be joy and love in that place in this moment. Always stay open to the newness of life. There's new paths being laid out every day. And if you follow your intuition, which is the voice inside your head that is not the complainer, but the inspiration for your life, your inner child coming alive, that inner child feeding, growing that inner child, becoming that inner child. It has to be a safe place for that inner child to come out. I learned this recently in a presentation for children safety, where they were talking about the different functions of the brain and how there's three main parts to the brain. We have the brain stem, which is kind of like your primitive part. It's mainly for like screaming and bashing and yelling and trying to get away of situations. It's your fight or flight. And then we have the emotional part right on the outside, where people go to, you see your mind expands. So the limited part is the brain stem. It's pretty limited reactive part. Outside of that, you have your emotions. Some people spend a lot of time in this part, feeling sadness, grief, even joy. And then you have the frontal cortex, which is all of your higher thought, your higher reasoning, your thinking. You're not just feeling anymore. And in this presentation, they teach the children that it only takes one breath, or maybe two, to allow your mind to get out of that fight or flight, to feel your emotions, take another breath, and allow it to be a higher reasoning so you can make reasonable decisions. So we can use this power as well. It's as easy as having awareness to where your thoughts are, where you're feeling, and hitting the reset button and saying, no, I can do better, I can be better, I can be more present. This is hard with distractions. So clear your energy flow into authenticity. We have to be aware that there's an inner judge living within all of us. Once you start to do self-work, as many people know, if you do meditation is probably the most healing self-work you can do, because it's spending time with yourself, going into yourself, being with yourself fully. And it helps you face your inner judge. Because when you face the inner judge, you take away their power. Because you're sitting there saying, I'm ready to listen. Let's hear what you have to say. And you're letting that come out. And the thing is, when you let it come out like a water jug, you let that water out full force when you sit with yourself. And it comes out, and then it's gone. And it does not refill itself. The difference is if you're constantly avoiding being with yourself, you're constantly avoiding self-love, it's like an IV drip that just keeps going your whole life. That poison of thought, it's sustainable. And we don't want that. We want to clear that out. We want to clear that energy of past pain, past suffering. And we heard Qigong is a great way to reset your energy. Yoga is a great way to reset your energy. Doing meditation is a great way to get in your divine presence. But there's lots of energy in our lives that also can be influenced by that. So one way is to look at all the energetic things in your life and where you're putting energy. And sometimes you can reorganize those so that you can live in a much more divine state on a daily basis, just by doing little adjustments here and there towards living a life of ease and love. So the mind, body, and the soul must be in alignment, must be balanced. If you're neglecting one side of that, that's the part you'll have to focus on. There's a study out of Harvard that's going on for almost 80 years now. And they took a large group of people and they've tracked them their whole life to kind of see what is it that makes people live longer? What is it that makes them live happy lives? And they tracked their finances and their relationships, married or unmarried, where they lived, all of these things in their life. And it's still an active study, I believe. But so far, the number one thing that they found that helped people live longer were authentic relationships, valued relationships. It didn't matter if they had money, if they had relationships in their life where they felt like they could really be their self and be authentic, it made them live longer in life. And what does that mean? How can you have that? Well, you can't have authentic relationships if you have not truly found who you are, who you want to be, if you haven't gone towards that. Because then the relationships are based in the version of yourself that you're being in this moment, which may not be fully you. To be fully you, you have more full, authentic relationships. And then that's a way to live a longer life. As science would show us, more of those live longer. So the more we can open our hearts, the more we can radiate love from an open place consistently and be ourselves, you'll bring more of that energy into your field. It's science again, but I talked at the beginning how we're basically living on these giant electromagnets floating through space. And in a sense, we have electromagnetism in our core. We are energetic, electrical beings. Within, you don't see that. There's lots of energy going around us all the time. So we have a choice to radiate that out and bring more of that into our life, because life things will come. Like Omaka came into my life. I have to tell you, the first time I saw him was speaking on a stage, and I was drawn to you. We saw likeness in our eyes, right? And it's like what I'm saying right now. The more you discover yourself, the more you become yourself, the more you claim yourself to the world, then the more of yourself you get back into your field, that loving energy that you can accept into your life. And release those distractions, those unhealthy distractions. Those can be people, those can be things, those can be technology. We are vibrational beings. Tesla claimed this all the time, okay? All matter is vibrating on different levels. The grass here is vibrating energy. The stage, the mic stand. We are layers of vibrational energy. You think inside, what emotion am I feeling? Well, there's a combination going on. It's like a cocktail all the time, right? You're not just a one-dimensional. You have layers of memories and experiences, and as we learn through epigenetic inheritance, you even accumulated some of your parents' vibrations, their frequencies, and your grandparents before that, has been proven by the mice. So, how do we work through those? We feel them. In full presence, we allow ourselves to feel and to claim those emotional frequencies that are authentic to ourselves, and to create a field around the ones that aren't. Allow them to dissipate. Allow them to run their way through you. Like water, just let it flow. And you become more authentic, stronger intuition. What is this intuitional force I keep talking about? Okay, let's think about that. Intuition is seeing purely with your soul. No distractions. You're a pure being of light. Where do you go from here? Well, your intuition is your guide. It's in you. No one else can tell you. That's why the more you watch, the more you're distracted by what people tell you to feel or think. It might not be you. I guarantee it's not you, because that's a version of personality that's prescribed for millions. You are authentic. You are unique. There is no one on this planet with your fingerprint. So your intuition might tell you, you know what? I want to go to the beach. Go to the beach. Don't allow for resistance in your life. Create a life of flow where you could flow in and out and be your happiest self. No judgment, no guilt, no blame, no shame. Release it all. That's all just conditioning, childhood patterns. How do we get it out? Love. We meditate. We do yoga. Let's do some affirmations right now, just to kind of bring ourselves into that loving field of energy, because we are each individual beings of consciousness with power. So let's claim our power, okay? So say with me, I am power. I am power. I am presence. I am presence. I don't believe that one. Wait a minute. Is anybody here? Presence, presence. We are the present force in this universe. We are the presence that make a difference. We are the presence that touches people in our lives, touches the hearts of family, touches the hearts of friends. We awaken them into new levels of love. So let's say it one more time. I am the presence.
I am the presence.
Yes, you are. I would like to do just a short breathwork meditation just to kind of get us in that more divine state of knowing. We just take a couple minutes to ground yourself, be in a comfortable position. Because I believe, as Omaka does, the stillness is so important towards radiating your greatest self out into the universe. When you're in the stillness and you're centered, there's a knowing within you who you are that is undeniable. And we need to find strength in that knowing. So there's nothing blocking us in this world. We just go out and be that force. So if you would, center yourself. Please take a calming breath. And breathe in the love for this present moment. Breathe in great energy surrounding you. And release. Breathe out what no longer serves you. Breathe in the swirling energy of the universe, the cosmos, all around you all the time. And breathe out, release tension. Breathe in love, gratitude, acceptance, becoming your highest self. And release, breathe out. Breathe in your love, yourself, your presence, and release. Each breath can fill you with presence. Breaths are healing. And release. As I sum up my talk, let us breathe in that energy from the sun, that radiating, loving force, that growth. Breathe out that no longer serves us. May every one of you find presence and love in your daily life. Take time with yourself. Give yourself that love. Clear your life of distractions and resistance. Create a life of flow and love and peace. And blessings to all on this amazing journey. As you come back into this present moment, full of awareness, full of that life energy, radiating life energy, and full of love for this beautiful day. Thank you, Rain. for waiting. A little. Thank you, Oma.